Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Tanvir Ahmed and welcome to another video. So today I am going to talk about driving and transportation, how to get driving license and how to buy cars in Canada, especially in Saskatoon or Saskatchewan. So let us start. The first thing about driving and transportation is if you have a valid driving license from your home country, you have a more direct process of obtaining a Saskatchewan driving license. If it is to expire, you should renew your driver license before traveling to Canada. To register for a Saskatchewan driving license, you need to provide your out-of-country license, pay the fees, show 2 documents as proof of your Saskatchewan residency. These documents can be the PR card and the SIN number. Then provide a driver's abstract translated, dated less than 30 days from the day you entered Saskatchewan. So the next thing will be, that you can buy a safe used vehicle for as low as 5,000 Canadian dollars. Now, the video that I have checked, I have seen people preferring small SUVs with all-wheel drive options on winter conditions. It can also be bought from private sale on websites like Kijiji or other car dealers. You can obtain financing for used vehicles to make monthly payments for different cars. Now let us talk about Saskatchewan driving license. This attachment shows how to get the Saskatchewan driving license. Let us go to the attachment. Now this shows the process of getting Saskatchewan driving license. The Class 5 license. To get the Class 5 driving license, you must be able to drive a vehicle safely and properly, understand all traffic signs, and know the rules. Depending on whichever comes first, as a new Saskatchewan resident, you have to apply for a Class 5 driver's license either before your out-of-province license expires or within 90 days of becoming a Saskatchewan resident. Check with your previous jurisdiction because they could have some restrictions that outweigh these Saskatchewan requirements. As a returning Saskatchewan resident, you have to reapply for a Class 5 driver's license. So if you are returning to Saskatchewan, again, you have to reapply. Now, the application process depends on how long it's been since you last had a license in the province. Simply reapply for Saskatchewan driving license at any motor license issuer. After more than 5 years, Saskatchewan has reciprocity agreements with certain countries, which means they recognize each other's Class 5 licenses as equal. If you are a valid Class 5 or greater driver's license from one of the following places, you can apply for a Saskatchewan Class 5 driver's license at any motor license issuer. The countries are, first of all, is another Canadian jurisdiction, or Australia, Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Isle of Man, Japan, Jersey, Netherlands, New Zealand, Republic of Ireland, South Korea, Switzerland, Taiwan, UK, and US. If your driving license isn't from any of the places above, you need to complete steps from the graduated driver license program as a new driver. Let's go to the graduated driver license program. Now, the next option is new Saskatchewan's driving license. If you have a valid driving license, not a learner license from any of these reciprocal regions, you can still apply to driving license. Which are these reciprocal regions? Let's see. These regions that I just discussed about. Now, when you apply, be prepared to surrender your out-of-province driver's license, pay applicable driver's license fees, provide your proof of residency status, Provide proof of your driving experience. If you have more than 2 years of driving experience, other than as a learner, you are considered an experienced driver and are eligible for Saskatchewan license without any testing. So that's an important thing. So if you have 2 years of driving experience, other than as a learner, you will be considered as an experienced driver and you will be eligible for a Saskatchewan license without any testing. If you have less than 2 years driving license experience, other than as a learner, you are considered a new driver. You are entered into the appropriate stage of GDL program without any testing. The stage you are put into based on how long you have been driving your last jurisdiction. So let us go to the new drivers here. So this one is new class drivers. If you are first-time driver, no matter your age, you have to successfully complete all 6 stages of graduate driver license program. Number 1, get a class 7 learner's license. Number 2, complete driver education. Number 3, get a class 5 novice 1 license. Then practice as novice 1 driver, practice as novice 2 driver, and finally graduate to an experienced class 5 driver. How to get started? You have 2 options to choose from. Number 1, study on your own or take high school driver education. If you're at least 16 years old and not enrolled in high school driver education program, you will need potential approval if you're under 18. And if you are going to take high school driver education, you must be at least 15 years old and enroll to the program with parental approval, have a customer number and non-driver photo ID card. Get your customer number and non-driver photo ID card. Prove your identity. You'll need both to enroll in the program. Visit a motor license issuer to prove your identity. Bring original documents proving your identity. 2 copies required and your personal contact information. A list of applicable IDs available in the acceptable documents chart. Use section C of the signature guarantor form to verify your first time driving license signature. Let me open both of these 2. This is the acceptable documents: birth certificate, Canadian passport, foreign passport, certificate of citizenship, permanent residence card, record of landing, CIC document, study permit, driver license, Department of National Defense driver's permit. So these are the acceptable documents. Documents used to prove residency must include your civic address or your locations and be dated within the last 90 days. Okay. This one is the signature form or guarantor form for first-time drivers. Applicant signature and date, put your information here. Signature of parent or guardian. And then it will be sent to the high school driver education. Complete this section only if the appropriate sections have been completed. So let's go back. Now, then proof of residency, this signature or guarantor form, then register your valid email address. You need to register your email address with a motor license issuer. So you can create a MySGI account and write your upcoming class 7 driver exam online. You will also have to get your photo taken, indicate your height and eye color, and choose whether you want to specify your sex. A customer number and non-driver photo ID will then be provided. The ID card will take up to 2 weeks to come into the mail and it's free. Then you have to create the MySGI account. Once your email address is registered and you create a MySGI account, you are in to set up to write for your class 7 driver's exam online. After that, get a class 7 learner's license. To get your class 7 learner's license, you need to pass the basic knowledge exam, the science exam, and vision test. There are 2 options again. You can study on your own by downloading the Saskatchewan Driver's Handbook here and taking the interactive online practice quiz, or you can take high school driver education. All 3 tests happen during the program, so you don't need your class 7 learner's license before you start. After 10 hours of in-class training, you will take your written tests. Basic knowledge exam. This written exam tests your understanding of the rules of the road. In larger centers, it is computer-based with translation in over 100 languages. Smaller countries offer paper exams. Passing grade is 80% and cost is $25 each time you take it. Scheduling tests are scheduled at a driver exam office only. Regina and Saskatoon accepts walk-in tests. Book and prepay online with My SGI account or call or visit a motor license issuer. Then sign exam. This computer-based written exam tests your understanding of the meaning of traffic signs. Passing grade is 80%. Again, all other rules are the same. Then there is vision test. The vision test is part of your knowledge exam appointment. Passing grade, you have acceptable vision, then you are passed. Failing grade is your examiner will let you know your next step if you are failed. Cost is part of your knowledge exam fee. This one. Scheduling, schedule with your knowledge exam. If you pass, you are now a learner driver with class 7 learner's license. Then you have to validate your learner license at a motor license issuer. You must show proof of your residency and identity. You have two payment options as shown under Renew Your License page. If you choose the annual payment plan, remember to make your $25 payment each year or your license will be canceled. Canceled license impacts your future road test and graduation date for an experienced class 5 driver's license. Get behind the wheel as often as you can with a supervising driver. See, when you get the class 7 learner's license, you cannot drive alone. You have to drive with a supervisor. And he has to have a valid driver's license, not a novice driver. Practice driving the way the driver educator taught you. Track your in-car practice hours with the practice log for new drivers. This is the practice log. This is the practice log for new drivers. If you fail, you can schedule another test as early as the next day. Keep on studying the online practice quiz. Supervisor driving responsibility. There are several responsibilities as a supervisor. At all times, be able to take over driving the vehicle. At minimum, hold a valid class 5 driver's license from a Canadian or US jurisdiction. So the person who accompanies you must have a class 5 driver's license. Have held a valid license for at least 12 months in the last 3 years. Be in the front passenger seat next to the learner driver, not be an novice driver. There's a guide to supervising new drivers. Now complete the driver's education. The next step is complete the driver's education. You can study your own. In total, you take, or you can take the classes. In total, you take 6 hours in class, 6 hours in car. And high school driver education, you may have been allowed to do 1 hour of in-car training before you wrote your class 7 learner's license. The rest of the 5 hours of in-car training will now proceed, as well as your remaining in-class hours of training. In total, you take 30 hours in class and 6 hours in car. If you are 15 years old and withdraw from high school driver education program, your learner license is canceled. If you pass, you have completed your mandatory in-class and in-car driver training. If you fail, again, you have to study. After that, the next step is get a class 5 novice 1 license. Whether you studied by yourself or took high school driver training, to apply for a class 5 novice 1 driver's license, you must be at least 16 years old with your parents' approval, have held a class 7 learner's license for at least 9 months. So that's the thing. You have to hold the learner's license for at least 9 months. So if from your home country, you have a driving license, you can drive up to 3 months. And also immediately, if your driving license is at least 2 years, then immediately you can sit for the knowledge test. And after the knowledge test, if you pass, you get the class 7 learner's license. And after getting the class 7 learner's license, you have to have at least, held it for at least 9 months before you get to the class 5 experienced driver's license. Now, whether you studied by yourself or took high school driver training, to apply for a class 5 novice 1 driver license, you must have held a class 7 driver license for at least 9 months, have completed the mandatory driver education. Get your vehicle ready. Your road test can be refused if your vehicle is unsafe or doesn't meet the laws. Follow these tips to ensure this doesn't happen to you. Make sure your signal lights, brake lights, and horn work properly. Find out your windshield is legal before your test. There is windshield damage defined. Get to know your vehicle. Make sure you have a valid license plate mounted on back of your vehicle. All about the road test now. The road test assesses your ability to safely drive a vehicle. You have to provide and test in a class 5 vehicle. Content of the test is the same across the province. You are tested on starting, stopping, turning left and right, traffic signals and signs, proper lane driving, traveling through controlled and uncontrolled intersections, parallel parking and backing up, anticipation of potential hazards, different safe driving practices like speed selection and steering techniques. The test usually takes 20 minutes, but it can vary depending on traffic, weather condition, and these factors. Passing grades is 9 demerit points or less, and failing grade is 10 or more demerit points. Cost is 55 Canadian dollars each time you take it. This is the scheduling process. Book and prepay online using my SGI account, or you can call or visit motor license issuer at your nearest examination office. Road test, there are several tips regarding your appointment. When you arrive to the road test, please park and turn off your vehicle, stay in your vehicle, text here if you sign up for the text notification. So these are some of the suggestions. If English isn't your first language, then there are some suggestions also. Now, if you pass this exam, you are now a class 5 novice 1 driver. You have to validate your class 5 license at a motor license issuer, pay your $15 fee, then you can practice as a novice 1 driver. If you fail, you can't take it again for at least 2 weeks, but you can book the appointment right away. If you pass, then you can practice as a novice 1 driver. Continue to practice driving as a novice 1 driver for 6 months under GDL driving restrictions. There is another link. Now practice driving the way the driver educator taught you. Track in your car experience in the practice log for new drivers. This one. 6 months completed. You held your novice 1 license for total 6 months. They will mail you your novice 2 driver's license. Then you have to practice as a novice 2 driver. When you get your valid class 5 novice 2 license in your mail, you can practice driving for 12 months under GDL driving restrictions. To be successful, you have to keep those 12 months incident-free. No collisions you're responsible for, no license suspensions, and no traffic convictions. Practice driving the way the driver educator taught you. Practice log also, again, the same practice log. Let's see the new drivers. This is the GDL driver restrictions. During the stages of the GDL program, you must follow class 7 learners, class 5 novice 1 and class 5 novice 2. You can't drive a taxi, limousine, or rideshare vehicle. You can't consume alcohol or drugs before driving. You can't use any type of cell phone while driving. You can't be a supervisor driver. You can't get a commercial license. Your number of passengers is limited to the total number of seat belts in the vehicle. Additional restrictions for class 7 learners: your supervising driver, who must be an experienced class 5 driver with a license from Canada or USA, has to be in the front seat with you all the time. You are only allowed to have immediate family members as passengers between midnight and 5 a.m. Additional restrictions for class 5 novice 1: only one passenger can be someone who is not family member. Other passengers must be immediate family members. There are also vehicles you can drive, all these specifications, and some footnote also. So if you pass, then you stayed incident-free for 12 consecutive months. You graduated from GDL program to an experienced class 5 driver's license. That is a congratulations, isn't it? You're considered an experienced class 5 driver if during 12 months in novice 2, you aren't responsible for a collision, don't have a traffic conviction or license suspension, and you have completed the GDL program. If you fail for your 12 consecutive months in Novice 2 aren't incident-free, you have to restart the Novice 2 stage and stay incident-free for the entire 12-month period. So these are the restrictions again. These are the vehicles you can drive. So this is the total process. So let me get back to you, the whole process. So we started from here, the very beginning, get a class 7 driver's license, complete driver's education, then get a class 5 novice license, practice as a novice 1 driver, practice as a novice 2 driver, then graduate as an experienced class 5 drivers. So how to get started? Study on your own. Then after completing the study, you can get a class, you can study an exam online, then get a class 7 learner's license. Then the basic knowledge exam. If you pass the basic knowledge exam, then you can drive independently after completing the driver's education. If you pass, you have completed the mandatory in-class and in-car driving training. And if you pass, then you will get class 5 novice driving license. You have to hold it for at least 9 months, get your vehicle ready, then take the road test. After passing the road test, you get, and after passing the road test and you practice as a novice 1 driver for 6 months, after 6 months completed, you practice as a novice 2 driver. Altogether, after 12 consecutive months, you are graduated as an experienced class 5 driver and you can drive alone. So this is a big hectic process of getting the driver's license. That's why many of my friends who get driving license, they just post on the social media that they have done something excellent work. So this is the way to get the driving license. I will come back to you on detail on how to buy cars and different other options. So altogether, this is the Saskatchewan driver handbook, the general information, practice exam, non-driver Saskatchewan photo identification link. Hopefully this video has helped you on different aspects of how to buy a car and how to get the driving license in Saskatchewan especially. So stay tuned. Hopefully I will come with more and more videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.